Alright guys, we're back, top 6 college football rundown bowl edition, and we shall continue.
Part 2. We left you last time with the Champs Sports Bowl. It's on ESPN on December 29th. The next bowl is the Valero Alamo Bowl. Now this bowl's been around for a very long time. I don't know if Arvin knows, but it's been around for like 20 years. Probably more than that. I'm probably saying that wrong. Don't quote me on that. So we have Washington
Pac-12 team
coming in off of a 7-5 and 5-4 season. I mean, they played reasonably well against some tough opponents like Nebraska, and I think they actually didn't they hang with Oregon for a while. I think they hung with Oregon,
and then they just got blown out.
Yeah, and they're going up against Baylor.
And
Robert Griffin III.
That's gonna be Baylor.
I don't know about you, but I'm taking Baylor in that one.
Yeah.
And Baylor, of course, just outside of getting into the BCS, and Robert Griffin III, a lot of people say he might win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Next one up is the Bell Helicopter
Woo!
Armed Forces Bowl. So we've already had one Armed Forces Bowl, and now we have another one. But there's no Armed Forces team in this bowl, which makes no sense. So we have BYU, who was 9-3, who they don't play in a conference. I don't know if you knew that. They left.
Oh yeah, they don't.
They left the Mountain West. Yeah, and they played versus Tulsa, who Tulsa was the team that took Houston to the brink early in the season. I'm gonna call this and say that Tulsa wins this one. But this is going to be an ugly game that nobody wants to watch.
I'm going to go with BYU.
Because BYU ain't that great this year. And
yeah, I have faith in them.
All right, now this one's going to be interesting. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl they actually have in New York, which that was an interesting addition. And we're talking December 30th now. We're getting into just before New Year's Eve. And we got Rutgers at 8-4 and 4-3, they had a pretty decent season in the Big East. Of course, it's not hard to do in that conference. Versus Iowa State, who everybody knows basically killed Oklahoma State's chances to be in the title game, and they took another team to the brink too. I forget who else they beat. They had 2 upsets this year, but they won 3-6 in the Big 12. What do you think, Arv? Do you think
Iowa State all the way?
I mean, it is tough for me to pick the Big East to win any bowl game because I'm sorry if we have Big East fans on here. I'm sure they're going to be upset, but the Big East sucks. Okay, I mean, why did they get an automatic bid? They're going to lose it. I think the automatic bid, which Boise State will come to the conference and leave the conference. I don't know if you heard they're adding 5 teams to the Big East. Anyway, so there you go. And then next one we have is Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl.
Yay!
And everybody in our neck of the woods was disappointed because Kentucky didn't go because they lost. They lost to Mississippi State, but they ended the streak against Tennessee and kicked them out of the bowl. So
yeah, but we still suck.
So we have 6-6 Mississippi State, who went 2-6 in the SEC. Versus Wake Forest, who is also 6-6, but they went 5-3 in the ACC.
We're talking about the SEC here, so it's no doubt Mississippi State's going to take the win.
I'm going to disagree. Wake Forest has a much better offense.
Okay.
And I don't think Mississippi State... I know they say defense wins championships, but I don't think Mississippi State's defense is good enough to keep Wake Forest down.
All right.
Next one's the Insight Bowl. We got 7-5 Iowa, who made a lot of ruckus when they won a Big Ten game in the Big Ten. Who they beat? They beat Michigan State, I believe. No, they didn't beat Michigan State. They beat Nebraska.
They beat a big team. That's all that counts.
And they're going to play number 14 Oklahoma, who had a disappointing fall from grace. They got rocked by Oklahoma State. I was not expecting that one. So who you
I would go with Oklahoma all the way.
I would love to say that the Big Ten has a shot in this game, but I honestly don't think they do. Iowa's not as good as they were last year, and I just don't see it happening. Next one is the Meineke Car Care of Texas Bowl. Okay, whatever. And we're starting New Year's Eve bowls now, so there's supposed to be better opponents in them. But we got Texas A&M and Northwestern. Northwestern has that high-powered option, right? And then we got Texas A&M, who just looked absolutely terrible this season after starting off ranked 7th, I think it was, in the first week. And Mike Sherman's gotten fired, right? So the question becomes, will they play hard for their head coach's last game, or will they just stink like they usually do? They'll go up by 21 and then lose the game. Northwestern, they upset Illinois in Illinois, and when Illinois was still ranked, they were pretty much the ones that destroyed Illinois' season. So
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Texas A&M just because it's a good name, and they did win, at least 4 and 5 in their conference, and their conference I think is pretty tough. So I'm gonna go with Texas A&M.
I'm calling it Northwestern. I think that Texas A&M will find some way to lose this football game like they have been doing for so long. Every time we pick them, we've gotten screwed, too. We've gotten hosed every time we pick them. So I'm going to go against them. Next one is Hyundai Sun Bowl. And that's on CBS at 2 p.m. on New Year's Eve. And we got Georgia Tech in Utah. And as everybody knows, Georgia Tech was ranked, and they lost, and they beat Clemson, got ranked again, and then they lost to Virginia Tech, and now they're not ranked, versus Utah, who their first season in the Pac-12 went 7-5 and 4-5. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech will destroy Utah.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be pretty. All right, next one is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and that'll be on New Year's Eve as well on ABC, and you got Cincinnati, who had a great season in the Big East, tied for first place, against Vanderbilt, who went 6-6 and 2-6 in the SEC and barely made a bowl game. I'm going with Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with Vanderbilt.
I think Cincinnati will beat Vanderbilt. I don't think Vanderbilt has that much of a defense, so that's what everybody says is their strong point, and it doesn't seem like that much of a strong point to me. The Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. This will be an interesting one because we got Illinois, who fell apart down the stretch. They started off 6-0. And finished 6-6. They didn't start off 6-0. They finished 6-6. They started off 5-0 and finished 6-6. Versus UCLA, who went 6-6, got to go to their conference title game because they didn't let USC in it, which was stupid. And so they're 6-7 and in a bowl game, but they went 5-4 in the Pac-12.
It was a hard decision, but I would have to go with Illinois on this because
I'm going with Illinois as well.
UCLA is just not very consistent at all. They haven't been this whole season, and whatever games they did win, it was just luck. There's just no consistency.
I think Illinois finally recovers and wins that football game. Although Zook's job, I think, is still got to be in question after this season. All right, the Chick-fil-A Bowl. We finally got some teams we're talking about. 8-4, Virginia.
For 7-5 Auburn.
And Virginia, had that big win during the season. I think, I'm actually going to go with an upset here. I'm going to pick Virginia because I think Auburn's in shambles right now.
Oh, I'll go with Auburn. I'll take Auburn.
Of course, Auburn's probably going to pick all straight-line SECers. Next is the Ticket City Bowl, and it's Houston versus Penn State.
Oh, that's
Houston, as everybody knows, we thought they were going to be in a BCS bowl game, and they lost to Southern Miss. Penn State was leading the Big Ten and completely fell apart after the scandal. I can't pick Penn State after this scandal. They do not look like a focused football team. They look completely out of sorts. The last game against Wisconsin especially, they just got trounced. And I think Case Keenum's going to come into that game pissed off about what happened in the Conference USA title game. So I'm going to go with Houston. And I guess we got to get on to a third video. So that's the end of part 2 of the ever-growing college football bowl game rundown on Top 6 Rundown.
All right. Woo!